What is a cause of death you certainly don't want to die from?
Rabies.
John Jones, who got stuck upside down in a super tight cave passage in Utah and rescuers couldn't get him out. So they had to just let him die and then sealed the cave up. Yeah. Not my ideal bucket kicking.
Being skinned.
Drown in the mud like soldiers during World War I.
Being tortured. I just want a quick AHHH and lights out. Call it a day. Radiation poisoning.
If you were offered immortality, but every time moonlight shined on you, you'd be a walking skeleton, would you accept it? If so, why?
Depends if I could enjoy apples or not.
Of course. I'd take it even without the immortality.
Yes, free job at movies.
Parents of Reddit, what's it like raising Reddit?
Still not successful in stopping Reddit from making those immature your mom jokes.
It's a thankless job, but sooner or later the little asshat will make it all worthwhile.
She's your typical baby. Keeps me up at night and I attend to her so much, I can barely work. There's one difference though. I don't read to her to put her to sleep. It's the other way around.
He is constantly asking me to break his arms and I have no idea why.
It's like that awkward child we don't know what to do with.
He's a good boy. He used to be a bit rebellious, but he's starting to become more mellow.
What was a sketchy cheap buy that ended up being one of your best purchases?
Dad bought me a flannel jacket for $2, from the equivalent of a dollar store, in 1994. Wore it for everything you can think of. Wore it yesterday. Still going strong after 25 years. Bought my kitty for $20 on Craigslist from a legit meth addict. I had never had a cat before and this little meow factory has been my best friend ever since.
I bought a blanket in Mexico in 1986 for $5. I still have it and it is super soft and comfy. It has been abused, washed, etc. and it is still in great shape. $12 rain boots at Value Village. I thrashed these things living in rural Alaska and they're still totally watertight 2 years later.
Stain removers from the dollar store are surprisingly effective.
What's something you're afraid to ask, because you think you should already know?
What's your name, again?
First day at work, everybody just introduced themselves, and the instant after I sat down at my appointed desk, I forgot all their names, though.
Not exactly what was asked, but I have to keep covertly consulting Google about human anatomy, e.g. bones of the wrist or midfoot, during working days. I am a medical doctor, been practicing medicine for just shy of a decade.
Where is the r/na stupid questions subreddit?
Names and birthdays. I have troubles remembering names and dates, even of family members and friends.
The name of this guy I've been working with for 2 years.
What's an elephant in the room in society today?
It's not normal to have this many people depressed and suffering from anxiety.
There are still several ongoing genocides.
We become more segregated even though we live in a time where people can easily connect with each other.
Internet's effect on mental health and dopamine regulation is already widespread and out of control.
How elephants are treated in many Instagram tourist locales.
Modern-day slave labor.
What's a skill you had as a child but lost as an adult?
falling asleep on the couch and magically waking up in my bed. Being smart for my age.
Climbing trees. My arms don't have the strength to pull my fat body off the ground, and even if they did, I'd be out of breath by the time I reached the first branch, which would probably break under my weight anyway.
Making detailed sandcastles at the ocean beach. My sandcastles had turrets, windows, moats, towers, and drawbridges. Somehow, as a kid, I knew exactly where to make them so the sandcastles wouldn't get ruined by the incoming tide.
Making friends.
Being happy.
Memory.
Why don't we do no-show protests instead of risking it all outside? Everybody just stays home, everything off, and don't participate in society at all?
Because the word for that is boycotting. While it's similar, it isn't the same as protesting.
Because no-show protests only work if you have enough people to agree with you, whereas other protest forms work with a much smaller number of participants. More than half of Reddit technically does that every day anyway, and nobody notices. It's not a good way to draw attention to a cause.
Open YouTube. And what is the first thing suggested?
An ad.
An ad about English lessons. I speak fluent English.
A day in the life of my sim by Call Me Kevin.
Best of Riley and Jonesy, Letterkenny. You shouldn't watch this Rainbow Six video. Clip art of Smunk Elite.
5G, explained. By Marks Brownlee.
How does Belgium get an empire?
What's the weird thing you can do?
I can forward all the Disney princess autographs. Make fart noises with my right eyelid.
I can wear winter clothes on summer. That's exactly what I'm doing. BTW. Mine's I can smell ants. It's not super uncommon, but apparently it makes you a potentially good perfumist.
I can crack my toes as one would crack their knuckles.
Remember the entire B-movie script.
/r/here rumblers a symbol.